Hey everyone, Rick Haaland coming at you from Healthy Tech Talk. It is day 27, September 10th. It's not really September 10th, but coming at you not from a live show standpoint, but pre-recorded. My blood pressure is 115/75. Take that! And blood sugar is 8.7. I'm liking everything about that. So, how important is noise to you, or sounds? In a couple of podcasts from now, I'm going to do a podcast on white noise. Whoops. Hello. I'm going to do a podcast on white noise. And interesting to note, here's how I picture certain sounds. When I walked into one of my therapists for the chronic pain, they have a little machine that sits on top of their desk, at the reception desk, right? And it produces this white noise, right? And it's like a scratchy sound. And I said to the woman, oh, that sound just makes me want to get a gun and shoot it. She said, really? It's supposed to calm people down. Well, when I was a computer technologist for IBM, that is the exact same noise that an IBM DeskStar hard drive used to make when it was dying. So for a lot of people, that noise is very calming and pleasing, and it's relaxing. For me, it means get the screwdriver out because we're going to be taking the hard drive out, and the hard drive is dying. So for me, it sets up a panic. Can I get the information off the hard drive before it dies? So isn't that interesting how one person's perception or picture of the situation will affect them, and strange, isn't it? All right, so we're not here to talk about that yet. Today we're going to be talking about the book called Pain, Learning to Live Without It. Do you believe that? I kind of have my doubts. Now, this is how I read, everyone. And don't make fun of how I research. What I do is when I find something that I really like, I make a reference point and put the page number down there, and some books are aligned too. Like, see, for example, if I have a good spot, I underline a lot of stuff. So there you go. So after the break, we will be talking about some of the sections of this book, Pain, Learning to Live Without It, by Dr. David Corey. I think you're going to find some really interesting concepts. Don't expect you to believe everything in this book, but fascinating study. All right, see you on the flip side. Don't go away. More. Welcome to the eFlexonics Podcast Network. Join us for the latest tips and tricks from experts in their fields, showing you how you can be happy, healthy, and more productive when using technology, either at home or at work. Remember, tech shouldn't have to hurt. Our motto is everything healthful and helpful for the computer user. Enjoy the show, Rick and Pat. Hello everyone, Rick Haaland, your host. Back again, day 27, September 10th. We're going to be reading today from the book called Pain, Learning to Live Without It by Dr. David Corey. This book is a few years old now, but it's got some really good information in it. And I wanted to go to page 42 and read from it, and then I'm going to go to another page to tell you how to fix it. Everybody is searching, aren't they? They're searching for their own way to work through the myriad of stuff. There's so much stuff. When you've got chronic pain, when you've got an injury that's lasted for more than 6 months, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to address that goes on the same journey along with the pain. Okay, so here it is. It's called Pain Triggers. A person with a pain problem must be willing to look at all the aspects of his life, emotional state, and personality in order to regain control of his life. This is because factors such as physical activity, pain behaviors, attitudes, emotions, sleep, and stress all play crucial roles in triggering and maintaining chronic pain problem. They affect the functioning of the central nervous system, and since pain is in the brain, they can directly modify the final product of your pain system, i.e., your pain. I call these factors pain triggers because each of them can trigger the pain system into action. Each pain trigger can also maintain a pain state once it's been started and result in a chronic pain condition that would otherwise end much sooner. Sometimes I think that's true, that we tend to hold on to our pain a little bit longer. Does it have a purpose? Is it getting us something that perhaps, I don't know, I'm not necessarily saying we're hanging on to pain for attention, but some people, they hang on to things and they don't know how to give it up, and I think that could be true for chronic pain as well. Finally, if one trigger is not enough to fire the system by itself, it can maintain the system in a state of readiness to be triggered by other factors. So you're on a very slippery slope when you've had to deal with chronic pain. And I think, to be fair, it all depends on how you're treating it. For example, I'm extremely fortunate in the fact that I got in the pain clinic, Jimmy Patterson Pain Clinic, a couple of months instead of a year and a half. That was huge. And one of my other podcasts in the future is going to be how to hold your doctor accountable for getting you to a pain clinic. You want to spend time around professionals that understand your pain and what to do about it. You're not going to take your Porsche, if you're in a Porsche, to a Ford mechanic. You want to take it to the proper people who know exactly how to handle it and what to do. Because there are certain dynamics about chronic pain that perhaps your MD, your standard medical doctor, your family practitioner will not be able to address. Some of these doctors, Dr. McInnes, for example, that I saw out at the pain clinic in Surrey, he specializes, he eats, sleeps, and breathes chronic pain, and he's a pain specialist. So he is just treating me like gold. It's just, and you feel cared for, and you feel like you matter, and you feel like, you know what, there's hope. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to return to normal activities. I'm going to go back to doing whatever you're doing and enjoying life. So there's a lot of hope there. So now that I've said about chronic triggers, let's tell you how to deal with it. Exercise and pain, page 62. Really, really important. Okay. Why exercise? The normal response to pain is to stop the activity that causes the pain. That might be a good idea when the pain is acute, because it prevents us from damaging ourselves further. After all, acute pain is nature's way of telling us how to slow down and to pay attention. It allows our natural healing processes to take over. But a person suffering from chronic pain is in a very different situation. Rest may cause the pain to abate temporarily, but not for long. Moreover, rest has its own penalty, because over the long run you can develop joint stiffness, muscle shortening and tightening, and weakness. Once this happens, eventual recovery becomes more difficult, because when the area is finally exercised, pain will result from the stiff and shortened areas. Then it's likely you will return to a sedentary state to avoid more pain, and a vicious cycle will develop. This is one reason why it's crucial for chronic pain sufferers to gradually and systematically increase their activity to near normal levels. As we shall see below, exercising can be highly beneficial if done properly. Look, if you've got chronic pain, go down to the running room or wherever you can get a really good pair of walking shoes and spend $100 or $150 to get a real comfortable pair. My favorite shoe is a Croc. Those ugly things. There's a website on the internet that says, get rid of the Crocs because they're so ugly. But I'll tell you what, they are the most comfortable shoe I've ever had. They come in a lace-up shoe. I paid $100 for it, and it's like walking on a big marshmallow. So it's not the open shoe in the back that you're used to seeing. But go get yourself a really good pair of shoes. And then, interestingly enough, if you don't have anybody to walk with, there's a special app called Meetup, and it's both for the Apple platform and the Android platform. It's called Meetup, and just do a search. And what it does is it goes out and finds certain groups that you're interested in. For example, if you put in your area, it goes by GPS location, and it'll track you, and you say walking clubs or hiking clubs. It'll bring up a list of all the walking clubs, and you can find a walking buddy. And what's really nice about that app is it tells you who is involved in the walking club and who created it and who started it and how many people go there. And it gives you a real safety net, because it says, okay, here's the person, here's where they're going to meet, this is how long it's going to take, and they go for a group walk. So from a safety standpoint, I think it's really good and it's beneficial. So use that app to get out there. I know that having chronic pain can give you a vicious cycle, but as long as we recognize the pain triggers and we can do something about it, are you going to have occasional setbacks? You bet. I've experienced that myself. But sometimes we have to push ourselves, especially if you've got chronic pain, push ourselves a little bit in order to get past that pain threshold so you can continue to get better and to return to normalcy. So today's podcast was all about pain, learning to live without it, the book. And Gus has some very interesting theories. Hey, listen, I don't expect you to believe everything in the book, but it's got some interesting theories if you want to go down to the library and take it out. Next up on the podcast show is Walking for Fitness. Da-da-da. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me. Rick Haaland, your host for Healthy Tech Talk. We're coming to the end of the series, but what's really exciting is I'm going to be doing a podcast show about my recovery and all the doctors, and it would be kind of neat to have either the doctors come into the studio or me take the mobile equipment when I'm better and go to their offices, if they'll allow me, and interview them and see what they can suggest for chronic pain sufferers. So we'll bring the information right to you. If you can't get out of the house, you can just watch our shows. All right, folks. See you next show. Bye-bye. Take care.